You are powerful. You are magnetic. You are divine. You are a creator. You are creative. You are incredible. You are powerful beyond words. Okay? Remember that? The next time this motherfucker tries to act up, you remember your power. You remember your worth. Okay? Because ain't nobody gonna remember it as much as you. And I'm here to remind you to remember.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll discuss the reasons why men don't attend dating events, why modern women see that men no longer approach them, nor make the effort to court them nowadays. We want to invite you to smash that like button, support the movement, and subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask from you, man. Add your grain of sand to the movement, share your experience in the comments for any man who might need it. And without further introduction, let's get started.
So I have to cancel the singles event that I planned to be on my farm this weekend. Y'all know I'm an event planner and I have a fish farm, and I advertised a Fishing for Love event where singles could come here and fish and have dinner and meet each other in person, not on a dating app. And 5 women RSVP'd yes, and 1 man. And even the 1 man that did RSVP did it through one of the ladies. Now, I did all of my marketing specifically towards men because I knew that the women would RSVP. I promoted the event on 45 different Facebook groups specifically about hunting, fishing, camping, country life, and all local to my area. I know that my post reached over 12,000 people specific to the age group, the gender, and the interests that I just described. And yet, no man RSVP'd. So let's talk about why men are not RSVPing and attending these singles meet and greets. So I read something that said that men are just more spontaneous, they just want to show up, but I don't think that's true because men have no problem buying their season tickets to a football game a year in advance, being on time for their fantasy football event, being at a 7 a.m. golf tee time. So the issue must be that they're just not interested in attending these singles meet and greets. I also read that men don't really like the pressure of meeting a woman in a formal dating experience, and they prefer meeting a woman naturally, like at a bar or a concert. But like, don't we all? Now remember, I chose an event that men love doing, and I get men here every day at my farm fishing. I chose a fishing event because as an event planner, I know that I have to always have something for men to be doing. Men don't enjoy just standing around talking like women do. So that's why I chose fishing as the predominant activity. And yet they still didn't want to come. So I would love to hear from you all as to why you think men don't attend singles events. Because all I hear is them on social media talking about how lonely they are and how they all want to meet a woman and how much they hate the apps. So what do you think?
I'll tell you what's happening. Most men have given up on dating because women today have worn out most men. So, men feel too lazy to go to a place where they'll be judged, where they have to prove they're a good catch for someone to choose them. A job interview without benefits. These dating events feel to men like women are at an animal shelter, and in this case, the men are the dogs. The one with the best resume gets chosen. You have to say where you work, dress well, spend hours talking to different women who will keep asking you the same questions, and in the end, you match with the one whose standards you meet. Because you don't choose, she does. You're the one in need here. So many men, and rightly so, choose to skip all this. Plus, with the age these women are asking for, these men usually have been through a relationship already. After 35 or more, they no longer want another marriage. Nor are they seeking a relationship with the purpose of marriage, which is another thing these women are looking for. So, we warn you that the wall is unforgiving.
Where are all the guys that initiate dates?
Where are they? Why are you even asking? I mean, you told them to go away. You told them to leave you the hell alone. You told them you didn't want them, you didn't need them, and that they really served no purpose. And they heard you. So they're off hanging with their bros, maybe having a few beers, playing some video games, have a little brisket on the smoker. They're enjoying life. They're done dealing with your drama. They're done dealing with your inane expectations. They're done dealing with you. I mean, let's face it. You told them you'd rather be with the bears, so that's exactly what they're doing. They're letting the bears have you. You see, ladies, you've made one huge mistake. You forced men to look at things. You forced them to analyze relationships and see if they're worth it. And they found out, no, they're not. They find that their lives are much happier and much richer without you, which means they're not going to be coming back anytime soon.
You made the bed you'll have to lie in. For years, you've been saying that men are misogynists, that masculinity is toxic, that a man had to be 6 feet tall, earn 6 figures, and have a luxury car to be with you. You started listening to those Instagram women with fake lives who told you not to settle for the minimum. You left the good guy in the friend zone because he was boring, mocked him on the internet, and some of you even made him pay your bills only to go off with a Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table except his seed. This made men put in effort just to date you, and all you wanted was a free meal at a fancy restaurant where you take hundreds of photos that included everything except the sponsor. So, men got tired of the abuse and said enough is enough. The worst part is that after setting such high standards, you now claim it's better to be with a pet than a man, saying that men are abusive when nowadays we don't even approach you. So when you do all this and keep insulting and mocking us on TikTok, what did you think would happen? That we'd never realize the abuse? That we wouldn't go our own way? The best part is that if women are supposedly happier single according to their studies, men save more money, have better lives without so much drama, and even live better when they retire. What an irony, right?
Why dating isn't worth it to men. Only some of the reasons. We'll start with expensive. What, he spends all his money on the first date? Or what, Casper the Ghost? Rejection. Fear of not only being good enough for you, but also will you be good enough? Will he have to reject you? Waste of time. Goes through so much effort texting you, making you feel special to go on that date. You finally do, and then you end up being a dud. You wasted all that time where he could have spent it on better things, hanging out with friends, working extra hours, whatever it is. Gender roles. Because these days it's super hypocritical, and a lot of men don't really win in this situation. Social skills and anxiety through the roof. A lot of men struggle with this one. So do us ladies. Legal and financial risks. He dates a woman with kids long enough, and he could be on the hook for child support. He marries her, again, issue there. He could end up paying alimony for the other one, specifically for girlfriends, but he's still not free from the financial risks, even if he doesn't marry you. That can weigh heavily on a person.
You heard right. If you date a woman with children, you might have to help with child support for her kids. This country honestly feels like living in a matriarchal system. Everything I said is true. You spend months talking to a woman, she's sweet to you, and you make the mistake of taking her to a nice place for a first date. You know what ends up happening? She spends the whole time taking pictures or on her phone talking about everything she ate. By the end of the night, you haven't talked at all, not a single picture was taken with you, and you're left with an expensive bill she doesn't even try to pay. They don't even pretend anymore, and you leave feeling like a complete loser. But the worst part is now getting involved with a woman who, from the moment you marry, starts planning her exit strategy in case of divorce. She'll take her money after you've supported her entirely, claiming you never did anything for her. She'll leave with half of your assets, then tell the court she was a homemaker who gave years of her life to you and needs alimony. The court might make you support her for life while she never looks for a job, which she'll never do. She'll just go out with Chad, who will relieve her stress all night in the house she took from you. But there are more reasons. Let's look at the second part.
Why dating isn't worth it to men, part 2. His friends treat him better. He has no issue splitting costs with his friends when they go out for food or games. Yes, they're also funner to be around. They're respectful. It's a win-win in all situations. He gets the same thing from casual relationships. A lot of men don't need serious relationships or even marriage because he can get those same things from casual relationships. There's no extra benefit from staying with you long term or marrying you. not the commitment he wants. Some men do genuinely want to get married, and there's ladies out there who don't want that. He can have trouble finding the level of commitment he's looking for. And of course, some men do want casual relationships, and they have trouble finding women who want the same thing. Catfishing and fake profiles, which is becoming way too common. He doesn't know if you're gonna actually look the way you present on the dating site, or if you lied about your whole personality, which could also be part of this. It's expensive and a waste of time. Exhaustion from games and mixed signals. Despite popular belief, men do not enjoy these relationship games. They actually find them quite annoying.
Men have understood the rules that have been imposed, where marriage has become a contract that only benefits women. If you doubt that this is true, just tell a woman you want a prenuptial agreement and watch the love disappear instantly. There are also damages in the marriage that she doesn't mention, like if the woman cheats on you or, worse, ends up having a child with a Chad. Since husbands don't do DNA tests, years later, they might discover the child isn't theirs, something that happens in quite a few marriages. There's more. A woman might leave you simply because she deserves to be happy, with a divorce rate of 80%. This is dangerous. The most ironic part is that for her to be happy, she has to take all your money because her happiness must be financed by someone else, right? Then there are dating apps where only 20% of men succeed, and the other 80% have to pray that on the day of the date, they aren't surprised that their date is a woman with a filter, or worse, has something hanging between her legs, the other modern women. But this has become total chaos for men, who no longer see any benefits in this and find it better to have a relationship where everyone stays in their own home because getting together has lost all its advantages.
What happened to men pursuing girls?
What happened? Why aren't men pursuing women anymore? Honestly, I don't know why women keep asking this question over and over. But let's see if we can try and explain it to them one more time. But let's be honest, though, the answers we're giving them are going to go in one ear and right out the other, because the reality is they don't really want to know what men actually think. They just want men to validate what they think is the reason, even though it's completely wrong. So why are men not approaching women anymore? Well, to quote an old guy from a few hundred years ago, let me count the ways. And I'm going to give you the 3 biggest reasons why men have stopped approaching. Number 1, because there's nothing to be gained in doing so. Sorry, ladies, but men have figured out that while you think you can have all the insane expectations in the world, like if he isn't 6 feet tall, with 6-pack abs and a 6-figure income, you also tell us that if men have even the slightest of expectations, hell, any at all, then we're controlling, manipulative, and abusive. The expectation in today's relationships is that they're a one-way street where men give, and get nothing in return. Thanks, but no thanks. Number 2, because it's not safe to approach women anymore. The risk to being in the vicinity of a woman or a group of women, let alone approaching one, is simply too great. False allegations are rampant at work, at school, in the home, literally anywhere in today's society. Women have weaponized Me Too and are using it to get back at men for even the slightest of reasons, knowing not only will they be believed, even when it's been proven beyond a doubt that they're lying, but that they'll get a ton of sympathy for the trauma they faced. Approaching a woman nowadays isn't just taking the risk of getting mocked, made fun of, or told to go away, incel. It carries the very real risk of arrest, prison, and having your life destroyed. Ask yourselves, ladies, would you be willing to take that risk, knowing that if you just happen to pick the wrong person to approach, they'll destroy your life just because they can? Yeah, I didn't think so. And finally, number 3, the biggest and best reason of all. You told us not to, ladies. You've made it abundantly clear you don't want us, don't need us, and most importantly, don't want us approaching you. So while you may think we men aren't listening, aren't paying attention, we heard you loud and clear, and we men are giving you exactly what you want, which begs the question, why, for the love of God, do you keep asking these same questions over and over?
This man deserves a beer because he's absolutely right. Everything a man brings to the table has value. What does a woman bring? Let me see. Feminine energy? No. A home? No. Her presence, which she's already shared with many, so it has little or no value. But as a man, you have to bring tangible things. Unfortunately, if you have nothing, then you're worth nothing. Here's another issue. If a man who is an 8 to 10 says something to a woman, it isn't perceived as harassment, even if it's satire or sarcasm. But if a man who is a 1 to 3 says the same thing, he will be reported for harassment. As he says, nowadays at work, bosses install cameras, don't approach women, don't have closed-door meetings with a woman, and don't even sit with them in some workplace cafeterias. They do this to avoid losing their jobs over a complaint because this is now more of a weapon than protection. If a woman divorces you, and she was the one who did wrong, she'll accuse you of domestic violence to take everything from you. Some even go as far as recording themselves with bruises. So why would we approach them when there's nothing to gain? Why would I risk a woman accusing me and ruining my life? The worst part is that in this country, even with evidence, a man is still considered guilty. And if a woman records herself crying, there are groups of bitter women wanting to ruin your life. So tell me the benefit when most women aren't wife material. That's why we let them hit the wall, because the wall is unforgiving. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do men decide not to approach women nowadays? Have you ever seen a woman report someone for harassment, whether at home, work, or school? Tell us what happened. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.